welcome to episode 6 of the Modern Day Morons podcast with your boy, High IQ.
Big Brain Brado.
And hat wrapped brain.
I wanted you to just be like, retard Drake.
God damn.
That's the...
You know me. That's what they call me.
Hey, everyone chill till retard Drake shows up.
Anyways,
to the
Lemon,
podcast.
what's up, man?
Do we have any sponsors today, Liam?
We do, and it's actually an exciting employment opportunity. Do you like pushing carts or managing stores? Because the Stop and Shop supermarket in West Hampstead, New York is now hiring for a cart corraller and store manager.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, no, it's a great place to work, very safe, good benefits, really no risk. You have nothing to lose by working here.
I know we're working towards something here. There hasn't been an awful piece of news in our head segment yet.
Do tell, Liam. Nothing to lose, eh?
Okay, so Wilson, a shopping cart wrangler at the store, went to the offices of the Stop and Shop, shot 4 people, and then went into his store manager's office, shot him dead, and then was obtained by the police. So that may be where the 2 vacancies for the job opportunities come. But I mean, think about it logistically. Lightning never strikes the same place twice. What are the odds 2 cart wranglers shoot up the same Stop and Shop?
What are the odds Wilson strikes the same place twice?
Well, Wilson's with police now.
Well.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass. I'll stay not wrangling carts. Thanks for the job offer. What was this place again?
The Stop and Shop supermarket in West Hampstead, New York. Send them your contact info because they're looking to hire.
More like Stop and Drop, eh?
Yeah. I just like to think one day he was like pushing carts. He's like, what if instead I just shot that bitch of a manager I had? I don't know if it's a dude or a female, but they were probably pretty mean to get shot.
So
Rest in peace. First of all, I hope everybody's okay.
Well, clearly 2 people are not, and maybe some board members too. No, so does that mean like going postal now is like go-karting? This is a stupid joke. Yeah,
I didn't even understand.
Didn't even click.
Braden, I wish you had to stop and shop.
There was a whole. There's a whole.
It should have been you.
Oh, this is a horrible joke. Hello, Hesh Lord Leroy. Great to see you.
Hey guys. Hey Lemon Leviathan.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
This is how we start here.
Oh,
in this
fuck.
Lawless land that is the Modern Day Morons podcast.
Speaking of people dying, do you guys hear the police officer responsible for the death of George Floyd was found guilty?
Oh, no way. I didn't hear that.
Good.
Big
That is a
W's.
good thing.
It's about a year or 2 later.
He's facing 12 to 40 years. I think he was convicted of manslaughter. There might be some other crimes. I browsed over the article.
It was 2nd-degree manslaughter.
Yeah, which is pretty low, but it makes sense though because I know the prosecution wanted to go for something that was more likely. Like if you say 1st-degree murder, you're gonna get not guilty because there's no way you can get premeditated. 2nd-degree murder you might get, but it's still more risky. So manslaughter you're almost guaranteed to get with the footage.
They want to make sure they locked him down for sure. So
and I mean part of it too is they probably didn't want another police station burning down in Minneapolis, which I mean is ideal.
Reasonable assumption.
But yeah, fuck Derek.
Fuck Derek. Let's hope he gets that full 40 years. No good behavior for this lad. He murdered someone.
That looked a little old, eh? 40 years would probably put him out forever.
Yeah. Well, I'm just
he's
hoping he gets anally eviscerated in the showers.
Wow.
Oh, you know he will. You know he will. I hate to break it to you, but
they're gonna beat the shit out of him. He might get. He'll probably get sometimes child diddlers and police officers get their own special like
Yeah, they don't go on Gen Pop.
like like fucking
Yeah, lemon does have a point. Manslaughter has always sounded worse than like slaughter is a vicious word.
You are
For-
slaughtering a man. Yeah, it is. It's a strong word.
It definitely does sound worse, but like, for example, you can get charged with
Where's that-
manslaughter. Just by manslaughter usually means unintentional.
Yeah, but that's my question. How are they gonna call it? Like, why not like accidental murder? Slaughter to me implies like, oh, it was a fucking like they annihilated this person.
It
Well,
probably
you know
has
how
some like
sometimes
Like
you,
hit
old
him with
terms.
a fucking forklift.
You know how you sometimes like laugh at little accidents and stuff like that? I just feel like they did it because, you know, you can't spell slaughter without laughter. So, you know, happy little accidents.
0 for 2.
I feel like
Braden.
that's not why they did it.
Zero
Yeah, I
for
know.
2.
We're off to a bad start.
One more
tonight.
strike and you're off the call. But
I
yeah,
might just leave myself.
yeah, but rip.
That's good. Yeah, rest in peace, George Floyd. Rest.
Ripped to a lot of people.
So many
today.
fucking people.
What a fucking story.
Oh boy.
I heard apparently that child diddlers in prison frequent the library because when newspapers and magazines get delivered, they cut out shit like the DAC catalog and like just like the most heinous things like Jared from
Sayings.
Subway's just in there like, ooh, Babies R Us Monthly just came out.
I would smack a bitch so hard if I was in prison.
Yeah, I
I
feel
would
like
smack
if
a bitch
you,
so hard regardless.
I feel like if you kill a child diddler in prison, you should get years off your sentence, not the other way around. Like there was that one video of the guy going before the judge. It's like, you killed your cellmate, and he's like, yeah, he raped a 10-year-old, and it's like, okay, do you have any remorse? He's like, nah, I'd do it again. It's like, okay,
You
you're
know,
in jail for
you
the rest
can't
of
do
your
that.
life.
Right?
It's
like,
usually
well,
like
come
the
on,
life
bro.
sentence people who will do it too, because they really got nothing to
Dude.
lose.
Life sentence really do only be 25 years though here.
No, I saw a guy. It was like back in the 80s, I think, and it was like a father who shot and killed like this person who like sexually abused his son.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he like right outside the courthouse, like they literally just walked out of the trial, and I think he got like 10 years or something, right? Like it was
Yeah.
too low of a sentence. And father came up with like we were sitting there in like a telephone booth because they had those back in the day. And he just turns around with a 38 and shot him, and then didn't get any charges.
He just walks into the courthouse. He's like, "Ah, let's get this over with now. I'm here."
So now, you guys
The
know
judge is
why I
here.
did it.
I
He's
mean-
probably, if he had a gun, he was probably planning that regardless.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Which is
that was
See, to me,
Premeditated, but I
to
agree
me
with
that
it.
sounds like, manslaughter. I understand that's not what manslaughter means, but he slaughtered that man.
a man was slaughtered for sure.
Well, there's that video too. Do you guys remember there was that gymnast coach, I think for the U.S., who raped or like sexually assaulted, like it was a crazy number. Like I want to say like high 90s, maybe hundreds of like 12-year like young girls. Like he was like a gymnast coach, and he was on trial. And one of the dads of the daughters, deadass jumps the stand and starts like pounding the guy, and they have to take like 8 police officers just to hold this guy back.
Why
then
would
he-
they?
And then I think
That should be part of your punishment. Part of your
Yeah.
judgment is getting your ass whooped.
And
for
then I
being
think
this
he was reading his apology or some shit to the judge, like, oh, I'm sorry I acted out, it's very... And then he just ran for the guy again. Which, I mean, I respect, but, like...
I can't blame him.
I feel like that's the lowest... Like, that's the worst crime, is anything involving children. Like, it's pretty... It's hard to top that. You need, like... Even some war crimes are probably better in the scale of like morality. And war
Yeah.
crimes aren't good. Let me just take the
Let's just put that out there. War
We're
crimes are
taking-
bad.
We're taking a definitive stance against war crimes right now.
we
Just
might
wanna
catch
put
some
that out
heat for
there.
this. It's a very not many people share this view, but
Hot
here
take.
at MDM we don't agree with war crimes.
Not big on him.
No, we don't. No impact on. You know, I think we'd go as far as to say most crime.
Yeah. Unless
Most
it's like
crime
one
we
of the
take
cool
a stand
ones.
against. I wouldn't say we go as far as crime stoppers, but
You
I
know.
mean, should
most crime is crime.
I'm pro tax fraud. That's why I do it all the time.
I'm pro vandalization.
Okay.
I feel like graffiti's fine.
I was just gonna be like,
I mean,
I'm gonna
like-
drive over into your car.
I'm pro.
I mean, like
drug use.
I was mainly talking graffiti. Like, sure, it's illegal to tag the side of a building, but yo, that shit looks cooler than brick. So, get fucked. As
You're
far
doing
as
the
I'm
favor.
concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it looks dirty, and like, especially too, like, you don't see this much here, but like, lots of trains have just like every car is just fucking painted.
To be fair, if you're tagging a big fucking wiener, maybe not. That I'd probably stop a guy if I saw him do it. If I
Yeah.
were-
Get creative.
Or like swastikas.
But if somebody's like tagging some six, oh well, yeah, fuck you if that's what you're doing. But vandalization to a degree, cool vandalization. I'm with,
Yeah.
but you know,
Not that bad.
don't be a
Bad.
hooligan.
Ride the very thin line between cool graffiti artist and hooligan.
So
So,
let's maybe take it away from death and crime.
okay.
What do we got? Like,
We
Our
got
next subject is death and crime.
150,000 Russian troops are at the Ukraine border, the most there's ever been, and apparently they're just waiting for a spark to basically invade the Ukraine. So, global conflict.
We've been waiting on this one for a
Conflict.
minute. This is
Conflict.
do tell Liam what's going on with Ukraine, Russia. Anything notable, or is it just they still just don't like each other?
Well, from what I read, there's about 150,000 troops at the border, which is the most there's ever been. And it seems like they're just waiting for, like, a catalyst to invade. I may have just read the headline and the first sentence preceding the headline.
To delve a little deeper, Jacob, Ukraine was formerly part of the USSR, and so Russia
Yeah,
still thinks that land belongs to them. So they've
course, it's
been
Russia.
waiting to just take that shit back, and I guess shit's heating up. So we'll see.
They're like, you know what? 2021, it's a fuck year. 2020 was even worse. Let's just go take Ukraine. That'll make us all feel better. We'll plant more potatoes, grow more vodka potatoes, and we'll be happy.
Build another $1 billion mansion for Putin.
Do you guys...
Yo, I feel like I saw a picture of Putin's mansion the other day.
Oh, it's
Are
massive.
we all thinking the same picture? That
Yeah.
shit was crazy. It looked like
Oh,
a
yeah.
fucking villain's lair.
Oh wait,
Well,
you're
it
thinking
is.
about like the crazy, yeah, technically, the crazy like sci-fi looking one.
Yeah,
I don't know if
the one that
was,
looks like a villain's lair.
yeah, I don't know if that one was real. I think
I don't know. It
He
could
had-
be just some fucking villain.
He genuinely does have a palace though on the Russian coast that cost like straight up $1 billion.
Oh, I mean, why not?
Holy
You
fuck.
Why
know,
not?
like
I'm
it's-
sure the
yeah.
Russian coast is beautiful.
Let's see.
Other than the fact
Probably
that I don't
cold.
know if it is. Is Russia? Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anywhere warm in Russia?
I don't think so.
What the fuck?
Holy... It's
It's
on the Black
massive.
Sea. And it's literally a
Oh,
castle.
the Black Sea do be nice though.
Dude, look, he's got a fucking
I mean,
full,
like,
Is that a racetrack behind it? I don't even know, but like, there's a full like track and field behind it.
probably horse racing behind this crib.
Ice rink, vineyard.
I guess
it
you
has a
can't even call that a-
casino.
Yeah, why not?
The house is always rigged. He goes to his own casino. If he loses, he gets the money. If he wins,
He gets the money.
still his money.
It cost $1.4
Yeah, let me-
billion dollars.
Yeah, Putin's like low key one of the richest people on the planet, by the way.
Well, he's the
Well, I
net
mean,
worth
like-
of Russia.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah, how could
Like,
you not be the richest person though? Like you have such a force behind you. Who's gonna be like, no, Putin, you can't have this? He's like, well, in fact, I can.
Oh, you chose death
And
by
that's not-
radiation poisoning.
Yeah, it's pretty much
Yeah.
his thing. He gets all the money from oligarchs, and then now he's got like
I'll
at
send you over to
at
Ukraine.
least $400
and you can
billion.
clear out Chernobyl.
That's not
Yeah.
including any money that might be like hidden away.
Do you guys want to hear about the time I
Good old Putin.
took money from a homeless man?
You took money? From him?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah, I Uno reverse carded him. Now, the title makes it sound bad. Because it makes it seem
Nope.
like I'm stealing from disadvantaged people.
No, yeah, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah, so I took money from a homeless man. Basically what happened was I was at school, getting that engineering degree, grinding as you do, and
Yeah.
it was late. Or it might not even been late, but it was dark. So it was probably like winter months, but it was like I just remember it being dark. I was at the library for some reason, like the central library, so right on Spring Garden there. And then I come out, and a homeless man approaches me, and he's like, "Hey, can I have some money?" And I'm like, "Ah, sorry, bro, I don't got any cash." And he's like, "Well, there's an ATM right over there." And I'm like, "Ah, man, I can't. I don't got that much, bro. I can't just sauce a 20. I'm sorry, cause like it was the ATM. Anyway, but and then he's like, "Well, here, I got like $13. So I'll give you this $13 if you give me a 20 from the machine." And I was like, "You know what? Fuck it, sure. I'm dead. I'm financially okay. I can give this guy $7. It'll probably make his night." So we go, and I don't know if you guys have been to this ATM. It's like a weird entrance on Queen Street, basically across the street from the library, but not across Spring Garden, across Queen Street. So the
Yeah,
other
I know the
side.
one. I know. I
It's
know
a
the
very
exact one.
small area,
Yeah.
and there's like a little like staircase you can go up to like a coffee shop or some shit. But it's very and there's a guy there taking money out, and he just sees me approach with a fucking homeless man, and he's just it's like weird vibes. He's like, "Should I do something? Should I say?" And he just leaves. And then I go and I get the $20 out, and he's like, "Hey, bro, can I just keep the 15 and you give me the 20?" And I'm like, "Nah, bro, that's not how this works." And he's like, "Please, bro, please, please, please." And I'm like, "Well, you can have the 20 and I take the 15, or I can go and get on that bus." And he's like, "Fine, man." And then I give him the 20, and then he gives me his 15. So that's me taking money from the homeless man, clickbait title. And then he calls me an asshole and leaves. And I'm just left in that interaction, just trying to like looking, like if there was a camera, like Jim from The Office, like just trying to fucking like, has anyone else seen this shit? And no one else was. So that was my interaction with one of my interactions with the homeless population in Halifax.
You ran into like a literal choosing beggar.
Yeah.
Wow.
He just wanted like $20, and I was
That reminds me of like
nah.
the Khajiits from Skyrim for whatever reason.
Because she has where. If you
Nice.
have coin. Oh boy.
Interesting. I haven't had any bad interactions with the homeless, I don't think, in downtown Halifax, thankfully.
They're usually pretty
I mean,
chill.
like a lot of them are
I was
just
gonna say.
a lot of them are just genuine people.
There's a
down on their
lot
luck.
on Spring Garden though. Like there's like 10 to 12 in 2 blocks. That's the most foot traffic.
Was your guy the guy outside the Starbucks there?
He was older, darker skin.
No, okay.
Are you thinking of what I'm thinking of, Braden?
Yeah. Were you there that time when we went to the Starbucks?
You and we like fucking juked the guy through Starbucks, went through some back mall and ditched
Yes,
his
sir.
ass.
That's like that hidden mall that like no one knows about. That's like
Yeah, the
across
one
from
that's
Park Lane.
Yeah,
Yeah, the hidden mall across
we
from
used
the hidden
exactly
mall.
that hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, can you get me some money, or like, do you have any money on you?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't carry change. I don't carry cash on me, like ever. You know what I mean?" He's like, "Well, there's an ATM in there. Can you get some money for me out?" And I'm like, "I think that only takes out 20s, man. It's gonna charge me a service fee on top of that." And he was like, he just kept pushing for it, and I'm like, "I'm not gonna do this." And I'm like, "Look, man, I'm gonna run into the Starbucks here, as is my plan beforehand, and then I'll see what I can do when I get out." And then we like just snaked all the way around the building.
Yeah, the Starbucks has 2 entrances, one on the road and one into like this hidden mall that isn't a mall. It's just like a fucking tunnel.
There's like
on the other side of the building.
There's like one jewelry store and a vape store in the Starbucks, and that's it. It's just all halls.
Yeah,
it's 3 stores.
It's very ominous.
It's weird as fuck, and the lighting is dark.
Yeah.
We go in the Starbucks. As we're sitting in the lineup, look out the fucking door. The guy's just sitting there, just chilling, like looking at us.
Staring at us. Yeah, he was like eyeing us down.
So we take our time, get our drinks, and then just fucking. I think we waited. We sat and talked or didn't sit, but we stood and talked for a minute and waited for him to look away. And then we fucking zoomed out through the other doors into this hallway mall and fucking down through the hallways, out on the other side of the building, fucking away.
Yeah, we dipped pretty quick.
Yeah. I wasn't there for that, but I know exactly the mall. Because I went to, because it said there was a vape store inside. And I go in and I'm like, what? And there's like 3 levels or some shit. And it's mostly, like, the bottom floor was like half a Thai restaurant with like tables and shit that I didn't even know existed. And then a vape shop. And it's weird because there's literally a mall across the street that's just way more popular in every regard. Because, like, actually, for a couple of my engineering classes, second year, dead ass, we had class in the movie theaters.
Oh, that's sick, really? Oh,
It's
hell
so it's so hard to stay awake though because it's like dark. You got those comfy seats, and they're like thermofluid engineering physics, and it's like
That's pretty good for a lecture though. I mean, like,
the only issue was like the desk space was shitty because they just had like these little trays outside that you kind of like put on. It was almost like an airplane tray that like kind of clipped to the seat, and that was just your desk.
I know exactly what you mean. I know what when I went to university for a year and a bit, we had a building, Seton, and it has one big auditorium that's just a circle. I don't know how your guys' auditoriums are at your school, but ours was just a circle that had like these divider walls that they could pull to make it 4 like triangles. And it was basically just a big fucking like opera theater with like movie theater chairs basically. And you had like those clip-on desks that were shitty. But it was a very weird, very, very weird auditorium. I didn't like.
Yeah.
Other than that though, I don't have any bad homeless stories like you guys. I think the only homeless, like, you know, sometimes you'll be driving down, sitting at like that fucking Windsor Street Exchange, like 10 roads. There's like an army of homeless people at every fucking street.
Yeah.
Chuck them a buck or so, but they're never bad there.
No. Lemon Leviathan here in the chat has said, I always went with giving homeless people a sandwich and a coffee instead of giving them money, which actually brings me to one like weird in between kind of thing that I had happened one time. So speaking of Queen Street, I was on Queen Street at the Sobeys for work, and this was within the last year. This was probably like
where the fuck is the Sobeys?
If you turn on there from Spring Garden and follow it like all the way to its end,
Like
if it's like
past South Street.
Yeah, if you go past South Street, you know Fenwick, where Fenwick Tower is?
Shit,
It's right in there, yeah. Anyway, so I was there and I walked out and I was like, I think I got like, I was like thinking about going to the there's a coffee shop right there that's really good, and then there's a Subway there, and I was thinking about like, fuck, I might go grab a coffee and lunch or something real quick, right?
Spubby.
Yeah, shout out Spubby. All things come back to Subway this podcast, apparently. Anyway, so we went. I went to my car and I was sitting out there for a second, get all my shit ready to go in and grab some food and coffee. This like homeless guy comes up, and I don't use this term lightly, but this was like a full on crackhead. Like there's like, you know what I mean? There's homeless people, there are drug addicts, and then there's crackheads. Yeah. And this guy was like the textbook textbook definition. And he came from my room, he's like knocking the shit out of it, and I'm like, hey man, what's what's going on? And he's like not much, man. You want to get some money out of the ATM for me? And I'm like, I was like, no man, no, like sorry, I don't really feel like doing that, and like right now, and there's not even an ATM, you know, around here at the moment, unless I go over to the superstore on Barrington, right down the road. Yeah. And I'm like, I can buy you a lunch or something though if you want, right? And I went there. He was like, yeah, sure. You know what? Because it's weird. Because usually I'll offer to like, if I don't have any cash on me, I'm like, I can buy you something cheap for lunch. You know what I mean? I can take you grab you a sandwich, or something, whatever you want, right? Anyway, like usually they're like, no, thank you, or like, I have some food for today. I'm lucky today. Thank you anyway. Or money's all I'm really looking for right now. You know, you get various responses. It's the first person in my life that's ever been like, yeah, I'll take food, right? I was like, yeah, okay, of course. So we walked over to the Subway together, and we went in, and everybody in the Subway immediately started looking at him like they knew exactly who he was. as in he's probably been to this Subway many a times.
Yes.
And the vibe in the room became very uncomfortable. Like, I've been to the Subway a couple times, and it's like a weird Subway, but it's not like an uncomfortable weird Subway. And he ordered everything. He got himself a foot long. He added some guac to it. he got chips. He got a pop, and like, I didn't even mind, right? Like, whatever. I just won't eat lunch today. He can have a big lunch. I won't eat lunch today. I'll just grab a coffee in a bit or whatever. And what was the fucking thing that happened after that? He was like, we had a really weird parting, and I can't remember what it was right off the top of my head. He was like, I was like, oh, do you want to like sit down and eat in here? And he was like, no, that's okay. He like just ran away out onto the street.
Just kicks the door open with his fucking guac sandwich and runs away.
Yeah, he was, it was pretty much like, yeah, you want to sit in here for a bit? Like, I'll sit with you to make sure they don't kick you out, right? Like, you know what I mean? Because I could tell they probably wanted to. He's like, no, that's okay, man. He like runs out the door, and I'm like, well, I guess I'll follow him, right? Like, I don't know. I got to get back to my car anyway. And he's like, well, God bless you, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I'm like, yeah, no problem. You know, take care of yourself. Like, you know, just, you know, stay warm, and winter's coming up soon, whatever. And then I watched him, like, I got in my car. I was in my car for a bit, and then I had to run over to the Barrington, right? Yeah. And then I drove over to Barrington Superstore, and on the way, guess what I saw in, like, one of those, like, bus trashes?
The sandwich?
The goddamn sandwich I bought him. A full foot long. In the garbage. I assume he got good use out of his pop, but, you know.
Damn.
It was something.
Damn.
I thought you were gonna say like you parked up somewhere else and he comes and knocks on your fucking window again. He's like, "Hey, you got any money?"
No.
Motherfucker was like, "Oh, I hate guac, actually."
the people who come and knock on my windows always scare me, because I'll be just like checking my phone in a parking lot or something, or like going through emails that I have to go through for work. And some person will just be like staring at me, and like sometimes they're too afraid to knock, so I just turn and see a fucking like person just staring at me like from the side of my car, just like giving me this look, and it always freaks me out, and it's very scary. Yeah, there's that. There's the cool poet homeless dude in downtown Dartmouth. Shout out Donnie. He's the only.
What a fucking place.
He's the only one to ever get me to get the ATM money for him. I gave him a whole 20.
Oh.
He's the only one. It's because he was literally smart. He parked outside of a TD.
I always try and carry like a couple loonies and toonies in my car, just because like if they're ever really up in your business, it's like, all right, here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like if they're really like pushing it, then it's fine. And I'm fine. Like I'll give to them without them asking. Like out of the, you know, they're just walking. But like sometimes they're like very pushy, and it's like, now that you've asked, I don't want to give it to you, kind of thing. Like now that they're like, once they get extra pushy, you know what I mean? Like it's fine to ask, but like some people get like way pushy.
Yeah.
But you know, it happens. What's up, Braden? You look like you had a thought.
Yes, Liam. This just popped in my mind. Were you there? And I'm really hoping you were to back me up on this. Do you remember we went downtown one night in the before times, and
we went familiar.
We went to the park across from the Dome, that little park by City Hall.
Yeah.
And we sat at one of the tables there. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and this homeless guy just came up and like sat on our table, and was like standing on the table trying to like talk to us and get money from us.
Yes,
like, you remember him? What was his name?
Oh,
was it?
Fuck.
Wacky
I was pretty
or something?
Yeah, I was pretty fucking sloshed, so it's like a faint memory. But I absolutely remember a homeless encounter going downtown.
So you're telling me he walked up and stood on your table that you were sitting at?
Yeah.
Did we buy him pizza or something?
We bought him fucking pizza, bro. Yeah, because we had like a big group. I think it was like 10 or 12 of us, right? And we were out with a couple.
Yeah, was that like Kathleen's birthday and someone else?
It was.
Was it someone else's birthday too?
I believe so. Yes. Anyway, but yes, it was for Kathleen. A big group. You were there. Yeah, you were there. I just want to make sure. Yeah. So we were with like a bunch of girls too, and they were kind of like very uncomfortable. This guy was like just chilling with us, and I think me and you were just like leaning back, like chatting it up with the guy. Like,
yeah, probably like ripping darts.
I think you gave him a dart. I don't even know where you got. No. I think you gave him a fucking rip of your vape.
I know. I've never given a homeless person.
I'm.
Oh.
Are you sure? Are you
Oh
sure?
shit! I totally
I
did.
vaguely remember this.
Oh god.
I can see drunk Liam giving up. And
Dude,
so
I
will
made-
Liam know. But
Oh, dude, that's the easiest way to make friends in uni. Is just, hey, want a dual rip, bro?
the easiest way to get fucking HIV as well.
Oh god. I totally
that was
did.
a fun one. And he was,
Yeah.
and then he was. Oh yeah, because we were trying to plan where we wanted to go next. We're like, oh well, maybe we'll go hit Reflections or whatever. But like, you guys want to go hit Pizza Corner first? We'll grab pizzas, donaires, fucking be sloshed and eat food for a bit. It'll be fun. And he was like, Pizza Corner. Like we're just trying to plan our next move.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll come to Pizza Corner with you guys. And I'm
Oh
like, "Sure,
man.
And I think I think either you or me bought him a pizza and a
Yeah.
pop or something, and then
Yeah.
he still hung out with us for a bit. He was a very nice guy. He was a
Yes.
very nice guy.
Oh
There's
man.
just another funny one that just popped into my mind.
I want to go downtown again, but it's like,
We
it's
can't.
never fucking. I mean, we can't right now, but it's like, it's always a good time. But then you wake up in the morning and you're down like $200, and it's just like you feel like garbage. But now that Uber exists, bro, it's so much easier to get a ride home
Yep.
and cheaper.
Yeah, it pisses me off that like we finally got Uber when it's the least useful. Also, hey Hayden, you're goddamn right.
Shout
it's a
out, Hayden.
podcast.
Oh, I see what you did there. I was like,
But,
open mouth cast. It's surprise
Says-
cast.
Surprise.
Gotta love those 2-tap 2 pogs, eh?
That's the
Yeah.
best. I fucking
So
your
appropriate.
emotes are great. Classic.
Thanks, man.
Oh man.
Hell yeah. No,
Yeah.
That's incredible, man. You guys got hella stories. I'm not one for downtown. I just don't care for downtown.
no,
You know,
fair
and
enough.
I understand the appeal of it, but some of you guys are you're both 21. I'm not. I was supposed to be like, I'm gonna be 21 soon, and it's dawned on me that I'm going to be 21. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta get my shit together. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, I already kind of got my shit together, and like 21's not that different from 20. But like, I feel like I'm too much of an old soul to want to go downtown. Like I'm sitting here and my knee hurts, and I took a nap an hour ago. Like motherfucker, I can't go downtown.
Yeah. You have to be in like the right mood to go downtown.
And
But
the other thing
if
is
you have a
too-
good group, it's pretty fun.
Yeah. You're gonna go though, and you're gonna wake up the next morning. You're gonna feel like shit, and your account's gonna be $200 lighter. It sucks every
Sounds
time.
garbage.
Every
Or-
time. It's really fun for those
I've-
like 5 drunken sloshed memories hours.
See, but now it's easier to like pre-game before with Uber because we can just Uber down
Mm-hmm.
and then and also too. Now that we've been to all the different ones, we only need to hit up like 2 or 3, but because
Yeah,
bar
we know the good
hopping's what
ones now.
cost all the money because you go to 6 bars, it's a $10 like entrance fee at each one.
Yeah, and then different prices for drinks everywhere. Like some overcharge, some undercharge. A little.
Yeah,
bit
yeah, I bought like
it's-
5 Jaeger bombs at like Reflections, and it was like $45.
Oh, I remember that, dude.
And I just didn't have it. Chess had to like give me like a tenner or something. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like, well, do you take credit or debit? They're like, no, cash only. I'm like, what?
Are you,
Yeah,
are you
I
kidding
remember that
me?
because you're like everybody who wants fucking Jaeger bombs, and everybody's like, whoa, and you're like, all right, I'll have 4, 6, 8. I'll have 12 Jaeger bombs, please. And I'm like, all right, that's $57.
You're like, all right,
Ugh.
it'll be MasterCard. They're like, no, it won't be, motherfucker.
The best place is we should with the boys hit up the lower deck, or is it the upper deck? It's a deck.
It's
a,
the
it's
lower deck.
exchange the lower deck, but
One
you go
of the
there,
2 decks.
happy hour Sunday, and it's
Yeah.
like $3 shots, $3 beers. It's super affordable, and it's not that busy, and
First
it's not
place
like
we ever went,
crazy
Liam.
loud. Yeah, fucking. That was
Tristin.
when me and Tristan are in the bathroom washing our hands. I leave. And then, literally less than a minute later, I just hear like one of the bouncers or managers goes, "Who's friends with the guy in the Hawaiian shirt?" And I'm like, "What did he do?" And then he's
Oh,
like, "Look
God.
out that window." And Tristan's face down in a ditch, puking on himself. And I'm like, "What?" And then I go to get him. It takes me 2 minutes to leave because it's a fucking maze. It's like 2. I'm like, "How did this motherfucker get out that fast?" Because literally, I was washing my hands like 30 seconds ago with him.
It's
Your hands
so
are still
confusing.
wet.
'Cause,
Tristan's
like-
already freezing.
It's so confusing. I genuinely didn't understand though how he got out of the building, because you guys were gone for like maybe 2 minutes, and then you come back like sweating because you like must have bolted it back to our table, and you're like, guys, we gotta go. I'm like, Liam, why? And you're like, I think Tristan's dying.
Dude, Dora did to pick this up, but we had him like on either like one arm
We
around
were
either shoulder.
holding him on, yeah.
And then that's
Fucking
when
man down.
I think you took Tristan's phone by accident.
Yeah.
And then
we had
Dora
this
calls
exact
me
same
thinking
phone.
Tristan left his phone in Halifax. And then I called Tristan's
Oh.
phone and Braden goes, hello? And I'm like, oh.
I remember that because I what ended up happening is that like I pieced this all together the next morning. Is he dropped his phone on the ground. He had the exact same phone, right? Like even very similar cases, like they feel the same in the hand, and it was dark, right? So it was like impossible to tell the difference, right?
Yeah.
He dropped his phone on the ground in the car, in the backseat of the car, because he was plastered. And I was getting out of the car and I go, oh fuck, my phone on the ground.
I
And
remember
I just
that.
picked it up and put it in my pocket, apparently over top of my actual phone. And then
Braden just pulls out both phones at once. Oh, my phone's ringing. Fans the phone.
I
My phone
basically
feels thicker.
teleported to the next morning when I had Liam calling me, and it was like 11:30 in the morning. And Liam's like, "Hey, Braden, what's up?" And I'm like, or no, he goes, "Hello," and I go, "Braden." And I'm like, "Yeah, why wouldn't it be me? You called me." He goes, "No, I called Tristan."
You're like, oh, no way. Hey, you did.
And I look at the phone, I look at the background, I'm like, oh, that's Tristan and Chloe, not whatever the fuck I had as my background.
Oh, man.
That was funny. Yeah, and then Gord came and picked it up, and
Yeah.
good time.
No, the lower deck has definitely been my
Tristan Pat.
favorite.
It's so cheap. It's dangerous.
The dome's worth going once if you want that fucking ear damage rave vibe, just to see what that's like, but it's really just like fucking... It's annoying for shit, like trying to get a drink, you gotta basically scream at the bartender. And like I went into the bathroom once and motherfuckers had kicked the toilet off the pipe. So there's just porcelain in a lake of piss.
Yeah.
And then I
That's
remember
also not the first time or
No.
only time that I've been in there. And
And,
the
like, the
bathrooms have been caked with piss.
the first time too, I was like cheeching off my fucking vape. And then Tristan's like, yo, let me get a haul. And I'm like, okay. He takes a haul, starts coughing. As the bouncer comes around the corner, he's like, hey, one more time, I'm gonna kick you both out. I'm like, sorry, bro, sorry. I'm like, God fucking damn.
Tristan do be necking on himself, though.
You really do.
Well, one of our friend's parents got kicked out of the dome for lighting a dart in the middle of the dance floor. Don't want to dox anyone, but do you guys remember that? I feel like you guys can put together who's...
I already know who it is, and I wasn't there.
We weren't there with him, but no, Tristan told... my friend told me the story.
Give him the game away, Liam.
I mean, it's a legendary story.
It is
I've
a
never-
great story.
I've never been to the Dome, but, you know, back when me and the boys went to Osh,
That club was very good. That was
we
a
went
great.
to
was a
we
great
went
one.
to our,
Yeah,
our
right,
first
Liam.
ever club. As young 18-year-olds, and that was
Fresh-faced
that. I
babies.
mean, that was enough. That was enough. That was enough club experience for me. I remember. Do you remember when we got there and fucking one of us, not one of us, was wearing sweatpants and like no sweatpants. And like motherfucker, like what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
The bouncer was like no sweatpants. He's like, well,
We're not changing.
it's either that or no
Yeah.
pants, bro. So he's like, all right, fine. This one time.
That was so funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, good old person that was with us. I almost said the name. Adult that was with us for that trip did a good job on getting us in there.
I mean, he's an intimidating guy. Like, you don't
He
say
is.
no to that man.
He could have kicked the bouncer's ass,
Imagine.
like for sure.
Body's the bouncer. We're going in, Chief. We're going in.
Oh,
Man.
man.
Yeah, so that was enough club experience for me. I don't care to go to the Dome. I really don't. I'd rather drink at home for cheap if I wanted to get fucking plastered.
Do you remember
and
that
I can
time-
go out later if I.
We went to Jake's apartment. It was pretty recently, I think, after he moved or whatever. And I chugged all that vodka before we went to Superstore. It was like,
That was my old apartment, eh?
yeah, your
What's
old
up?
Say,
apartment
this was back.
when you lived with Matt. Like, this was back like Bedford.
Yeah,
days.
I remember that.
It was us three.
And
Plus
then you
Chess.
motherfuckers. Yeah. And then you guys were like, "Where can we go to smoke?" I was like, "I don't know, man. Just go outside and go around the corner." And fucking just sat on the car, basically. Just sat right behind the car in the open parking lot, smoking fucking joints. I was like,
I thought that
whatever.
was the
It's not
time we
like that's
went
my.
up to the school.
It might have been.
It was probably
Might have
both
been a
times.
different
We probably
time.
did both.
At
We
the same
probably were like,
time,
we
yeah.
don't want to go back to the
Either
school.
way, I was like, yeah, it's not like you're parked in my marked parking spot that's designated for this apartment. I was like, fucking it. But like good old Mako says, I'll have to have a basement party once I move into this new place soon. Have a lot of square footage. Have a move-in party with the boys, maybe. Or I use the term party gently because it's COVID and won't be, we won't be putting holes in walls or anything.
A
But
social gathering.
Of less than 10 people.
Socially distanced gathering. I also have a back deck, so could be good. So,
oh man, I can't. I honestly, as much as I really don't miss spending a lot of money on the downtown experience, I cannot fucking wait to get a shot in my arm, to go back to smoking dirty loose cigarettes with people who I just walked over to and bummed from and made friends with, and just like being way too drunk, spending like $200, trying to pick up women and failing. It's just, I can't fucking wait.
It hits a spot, and it really kind of sucks because like people have it worse, so you can't complain that much. But we dead ass, it kind of like just like a year and a half, it'll probably be like 2 years almost when it's fully back to normal. Where it's like just like fucking, that's like prime fucking.
Those were like prime
shenanigan times. So it's like I definitely want to go a few more times.
We're also still in prime party years. Like now, you guys can go to the States and party.
Yeah. No, we got till like 25 before it starts getting sad.
Yeah. It's like,
I'm
like 40, I'm like going downtown.
What's up, Jake?
Some of us are already a little more settled down in our lives than some of the others.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not so much like looking to go downtown and pick up women and bum ciggies because, well, I've never smoked a cigarette and I don't plan on picking up women.
Literally no negative repercussion.
The things you guys are craving, well, not craving, but looking forward to.
That's the thing. I'm not even craving it because it's like when those things used to happen in the before times, it was like I'd wake up and I'd be like, "Oh God, what did I do last night? I hate like everything that I'm remembering right now." It's just like this rush of like anxiety and like, like what did I do? And then it's just like, but now I miss it. Like I want it back.
Yeah.
It's just like now that we can't do it, I want to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I usually am not like. There's very few times I'm like legitimately hungover. I think one of the only times I was like really hungover was your New Year's Eve party.
Oh, mine.
Yeah, okay. That was fucking. Well, there's a few things I remember about that. One, there was two females fighting about.
Yeah, and I had to kick one out.
Yeah.
About a certain hell of a man.
I forgot your parents were home.
Yeah, My dad still laughs about this occasionally.
They're like fighting downstairs, and your dad comes out, and he recognizes me. He comes out. I forget exactly how it went, but I think I screamed, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, and he was like right next to me.
As he like comes down, like, hi there, Braden's father. It is all taken care of and under control.
Nothing to worry about, sir.
Yeah. No, that was but I woke up that morning and like we had like I drank just insane amounts, and then like we had circles with like joints, darts, and cigars just rotating, just inhaling everything. And then I like woke up and I like my arm, I could barely move it. It was like I was half paralyzed and it just hurt so insanely bad. I was like, what the did I fucking body check the ground? But
you just slept on your side on the floor.
I think I slept on like Braden's fucking weird ass like futon that has no base. So it's just like a little like mini couch on the floor.
Yeah.
I
love that
extended chair, and I was just like, I think I sat like sitting upright
like,
on it.
For the record,
that fucking couch.
It's no longer here.
Oh no! That couch fits like your head and your torso, and then your legs just like lay on the floor.
Yeah.
It's weirdly
Pretty
comfortable though. So I found myself like falling asleep on that a lot, and then waking up in just the most mangled, uncomfortable positions.
Yeah.
Man. We always got into it, boys. Pre-COVID, they were always successful bangers, whatever they were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Liam Banner V4 should be one for the ages.
Exciting. When is that again?
Don't have a confirmed date. Might not even be till like fucking the fall. But
It is what it is.
yeah, we'll see. Cause like, ideally, COVID settles down a bit, and like, we'll have to see too. Cause I don't even know if we're gonna continue with that boys' trip to Canada's Wonderland, just because they keep exploding more and more every day.
Also, Liam, I just have a quick
Good
question for you
old
off
explode.
topic. I just had to take something there on mute. But did you said that the most hungover you've ever been was my party. What about after the party you were hosed down at?
Oh
Was
yeah.
that worse? Was that worse? I imagine that was worse.
So that wasn't physically worse, but I woke up and just super depressed. Like,
Yeah,
it
the
felt like I
emotions,
just
yeah.
popped a molly and like all my happy chemicals were gone. Super depressed. On top of that, Tristin and Emily thought it'd be a funny prank to pretend that Emily was super pissed at me because I did something I couldn't remember. So they were just playing like, "Oh, Emily's so mad," and Emily, and they're like, "Ha ha, got you," and I'm like, "Ha ha, okay." Awkward conversation with my parents, and then there was the whole allegation thing. I don't know if you guys remember, where I was.
Oh God.
There was a false accusation, and I had to deal with that, and I couldn't. Like,
False accusation, by the way, started by someone other than the person that it was about.
Yes. I had to talk to the person it was about, and they were like, "That's an awkward conversation," but they're like, "No, what?"
They didn't even know.
Because obviously I like
They didn't even know that there was a false accusation.
Yeah, they didn't even know what it was about, and like fucking.
It was just
I
it's
thought it was
stupid
false,
people.
but like there was literal like I was blackout drunk, so there's literally like periods I did not remember, so I couldn't like 100% be like no, because like I wouldn't, but like if there's blackout parts, I don't have like
You don't
concise
know,
memories of
Yeah,
every minute of the party, so I'm like, fuck, but yeah, that was a crazy one, but physically I wasn't like I don't
Rough
remember
head,
being that sick or anything, like I don't think I was hungry when I woke up, but I wasn't like fucking vomiting and like. I'm usually never too hungover.
I just hope one memory that sticks in your mind from that night is when I tried to get you water, because that's one of the funniest things that's ever happened. So Liam had already had, I think, an entire pint of vodka.
Almost, I shared a bit of it, but the
Okay,
problem was not the amount. It was within 45 minutes.
No,
I
but
drank
that's
all
what I
this.
was getting to. Yeah, it's like it happened very quick. Like the party was like people were like the rest of the people were just showing up, and Liam is already like shit faced.
Okay, there was like 20 minutes there where I was top of the world. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. You were killing it at all the like party games and shit. You were chatting with everybody. It was going great. And then there was a point where I look over and I think I was talking to like I don't know, I was probably talking to Emily or something. And or Sam or whoever it would have been at the time, right? And I turn around and I see you like this, just like you're like half asleep. One of your eyes is open, one of your eyes is closed. And I was like, oh fuck, hold on, I have to go check on him. So I walk over and I'm like, Liam, what's up? I'm like shaking you awake because you're like, oh. and I'm like Liam, like what's going on? Do you need water? Like where's your vodka? And I like pick it up. I'm like, Jesus Christ! I'm like, it hasn't even been an hour, man. You're like, yeah, it's okay. And I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get you some water. You're like, no, I don't need it. And I'm like, okay, Liam, I'm gonna go get you water, and I hope you drink it when I come back. And so I run upstairs. I come back down with water. And then I come back, you're no longer in the chair. And I'm like, fuck, where'd he go? I don't see him anywhere in the main room. So then I start like looking through other rooms. And I finally find you like in one of the side rooms that was like supposed to be locked up. And I pull you back out and I put you on the chair. And I'm like, Liam, take this. This is water. This is good for you. This will make you feel better, okay? And you take it, you go, okay. And you just fucking pour it all over you.
Oh,
And some of those moments,
water everywhere.
it should have been recorded.
I wish it was. I fucking wish I would have had like Snapchat open or something and just saved that for me in the future, because that was. Oh.
thank you, Mod, who got that. Yeah, and then that night progressed. At one point, I'm slumped on the stairs. Well, I have like, so my memory is I remember being in like one of the rooms,
A room.
and like Shay was fighting somebody. I knew it was like in jest, but they were wrestling or like throwing hands, basically. I forget what it was about. And then I remember, then I'm on the stairs, and I'm like, Braden comes up to me, and I'm like destroyed. And this is one of the only memories I have. And he goes, Liam. I'm like, he's like, front hand, backhand. I'm like, backhand. And he just fucking, boop. And I'm like, ah, fuck. And then Connor's like, Liam, I got you some water. I'm like, okay. And I can barely drink. And it's boiling hot, and he's just like dumping it on my face. And I'm like, ow, what? And then at some point, the urge hit, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna explode. And so I get myself to the bathroom. Door's locked. And I am pounding on this thing furiously, like, we are out of time, okay? Open the fuck up. And then at a certain point I realized, too late. And I just, bah, right on the door.
And there was...
There was a girl in there using the washroom, and she, from her perspective, she would have just heard massive banging on the door, and then puke coming under the door. And then she opens up, I go in, and it's literally like in Sea of Thieves when you drink too much, where it's like, oh, and there's puke. And I remember literally just seeing the toilet, and just puking to the right of it, just getting nuts in the toilet. And then I think at the end I was just so exhausted I just sat down, like in the puke.
Yeah, you were sitting in the bathroom puke. So
and then
continue.
fucking they take me outside, hose me the fuck down, leave me outside for like an hour while everyone else just cleans up this, and I had a big stinking.
To be fair, I was on cleanup duty. I was not one of the ones who locked you up outside.
And then fucking I think they found like a whole Twizzler. And like just a big chunky steak dinner.
Goblin Twizzlers everywhere.
And yeah, it was the most it was not a great experience, but it was a learning experience. I never got that bad.
That's probably why you weren't very hungover the next day, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
You got most of those contents out of you.
I had a quote unquote great POV of that. I was like within a meter of Liam, from running to the washroom to cleaning up fucking everything, along with the other army of people cleaning up. God, it was such a fucking mad.
Yeah,
no, I remember.
Like, let's be honest. The toilet bowl was like 1 foot by 1 foot. Liam probably covered 16 square feet of this bathroom, and I don't even think we had to flush the toilet. Like, I think the toilet was pristine, other than the base of it, which was, surrounded by.
Yeah. No,
Oh god,
everything.
that was. I'll never, as long as I live, forget like just the like screams of horror that people had. Because I think was it you, Jacob, that was like right next to Liam when it happened, or was it was like you or Connor or something, or maybe both of you?
I was there. I remember.
Do you guys remember me banging on the door?
See, that's the thing. I remember hearing loud banging, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I hear Jacob go, "Oh my god!" And I hear like Liam like screaming and yelching almost in pain. And I was very confused, and I walk around the corner because it's like the bathroom's in like a hallway, and it was like you guys ever seen Daddy Daycare? The film Daddy Daycare? Yeah. You know the scene where the kid's like, I missed. And then he walks in the bathroom, and it's just like he looks up, and there's like piss on the ceilings, and he's just shocked and in horror.
Yeah.
I walked over, and it was like that. There's puke on the walls. There's puke on the stairs. There's puke on the floor between the wall and the stairs. There's puke in the bathroom. There's puke on the bathroom door. There's puke on the other side of the bathroom door somehow. And then, as you said, just the whole bathroom floor.
So, for perspective, there was 3 bath mats in this bathroom. Kind of a large amount of bath mats, anyways, in my opinion. But whatever.
Especially for a bathroom that was only a half bath.
But
no shower.
I think it did have a shower.
I think it had a shower. It had like one of those like weird, like very short showers.
It had a
it was like a
shower.
Yeah, okay, you got it.
It had a standing shower, sink, and a toilet, and each one had a bath mat at the foot of them. Each one of these bath mats had to be removed and cleaned.
Yeah.
They all
Thoroughly.
had vomit on them.
Yeah, no,
Okay, let's be honest.
They
this
threw them
bathroom-
out
it was a
after.
bathroom. It was a bathroom, you know, like it wasn't like bath mat touching bath mat touching bath mat. Like there was floor between.
At least a foot between each one, at least. And every single one of them was like covered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was kind of impressive.
Oh.
Flex tape can't fix that.
No, not even
that
Phil
was-
Swift.
I can't believe I
It
got
was-
invited to another fucking Emily banner.
Yeah, it was pretty
I
shocking.
didn't see Liam's face during the whole vomit thing, thankfully, but I did see the face of the girl who was in the washroom
Yes.
upon opening the door and realizing that she was trapped in the washroom.
Oh.
Yeah, there was no escaping that.
Oh, dude, I
That
just.
was something I'll never forget.
Yeah, that was pretty terrible, all
Mhm.
around. It was. I mean, it makes for a good story now, but Jesus, it was.
At the time, yeah, it was horrifying.
Man,
I'm assuming more so for you.
the next day was brutal because I'm like, all my social currency just bottomed out.
Mhm.
I have no legs to stand on. I'm just like, oh, and then you have like that alcohol depression, and you're like, oh. And the worst part too was when we went home, Tristan was like, oh yeah, you can stay at my place at the start of the night, and then it's like, Liam, we're taking you home. I'm like, no, don't let my parents see me like this. And yeah, and then yeah, my mom opened the door.
And you got taken home.
Yeah, it was a fun night.
Liam did go home that night, for the record.
Yeah, I just slept in the shed. Oh,
Sleeping
fuck.
in the doghouse tonight, son.
Yeah, Jesus.
That was good days. Good days.
Good days.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID. Can you imagine?
God, it's
Can you
so
imagine
weird.
the time?
It's so fucking weird to like think of my life now, and it's like it is very much in two separate things right now. In the way I think about like how my life works, it's like the before times, the pre whatever this shit is, and it's like now.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's so weird to like think back to like I don't know, say November 2019. Not a goddamn care in the world. It's like I had my worries or whatever, but it's like shit was normal still, and I had no idea what kind of global storm was cooking. And oh boy,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah, it's
over
been a
a
hell of a-
year now since everything's shut down.
yeah, it's kind
I
of
heard
crazy
that.
to think about.
I heard just today actually the local government asked that everybody in our area go get a COVID test
Mm.
Ooh.
from Halifax, Dartmouth, Lawrencetown, Sackville, every single person. So
shit.
boys, let's go get our noses.
I'm probably gonna go
Punctured.
tomorrow. I gotta work tomorrow, so I'll probably head into the convention center one.
This is like probably the worst time because I'm so busy with moving.
Yeah.
It's like, bruh, I got shit to do.
Yeah. That's fair. Should we hit up a raid with our fat
Yeah.
8 viewers?
Absolutely.
Let me see. Do we got anyone on the list? Tanya just went live.
I got. Okay, yeah, sure. Tanya's good. I was gonna say syphilis, but Tanya's good too if she just went live.
Yeah.
Starter.
I actually don't see Tanya on my thing yet.
I just refreshed and she's at 0 viewers playing Satiro.
Let's make it 8, maybe, or whatever we lost by a fucking pubic hair, says Hayden. Sorry
That's
to hear that, bro.
Oh man, that's
Not by a pubic hair. That's the worst
That's not
kind of
fun.
hair. Why couldn't it be an armpit hair?
Is that really that much better? That's just basically pubes for your armpits.
Yeah, it's pretty much pubic hair. But you know, why not a head hair? Why not beard hair? Look, one of these is super small.
Oh man.
You know,
Well, Jacob, if they lost by like a lock of head hair on yours or Liam's head, they would have lost by a lot. A
Yeah.
pubic
it's
hair
quite
is
a ways.
small hair. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on the person.
I guess so. I guess so. Actually, yeah. No, good point.
But yeah,
It could be longer than Liam's hair, maybe.
thank you guys for joining us.
Anyways,
Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it.
We'll
Pleasure.
catch you on the next one. MDM
I'll be
episode 6.
party time.
Out forever.